Have you ever stopped and wondered why some older men seem to attract younger women without even trying? While other men, guys who have massive bank accounts, great careers, or expensive sports cars, remain completely invisible? It's one of the most frustrating things to watch, especially if you've put in the hard work to build a successful life. You see a guy who isn't dressed in head-to-toe designer gear, isn't flexing a luxury watch, and isn't trying to act like he's 25 again, yet women are naturally drawn to his orbit. Meanwhile, a man who has achieved incredible financial success walks into the same room and gets completely ignored, or worse, treated like a wallet instead of a man. Most people assume the secret is money, elite fitness, or pure luck. But the reality is far simpler and much deeper than any of those surface level distractions. The truth is, it all comes down to a single foundation that most men completely overlook: your internal mindset. When an older man struggles in the dating world, it's almost never because of his actual age. It's because of what he believes his age means. A massive number of older men walk into a room already carrying a hidden sense of defeat. Before they even open their mouth or make eye contact, they've already convinced themselves that they are at a massive disadvantage. They look around, spot younger guys, and immediately think, I'm too old, I'm too late, and I can't compete with someone who has youth on their side. They view their age as a flaw they have to hide, compensate for, or apologize for. What they don't realize is that this defeatist belief doesn't stay hidden in their thoughts. It leaks out into everything they do. It changes the way you stand, shrinking your posture and making you look tense. It subtly alters the tone of your voice, making you sound hesitant or overly eager for approval. It shapes the kind of eye contact you make, causing you to look away too quickly because you feel like you don't belong in the conversation. When you carry the belief that you are at a disadvantage, you project an invisible field of insecurity that people feel instantly. Women in particular pick up on this micro insecurity within seconds. They might not consciously break it down, but they intuitively sense that you aren't comfortable in your own skin. On the flip side, the men who attract effortlessly have mastered a completely different psychological reality. They understand that real confidence doesn't magically appear the moment you decide to approach a woman and deliver a clever line. Real confidence starts hours, days, and years before anyone ever notices you. It begins with absolute comfort in who you are today, right now, at this exact stage of your life. An attractive older man doesn't view his age as a handicap. He views it as his greatest asset. He carries the weight of his life experience, his failures, his wins, and his personal growth as quiet proof of his value. He doesn't feel the need to rush, perform, or convince anyone that he's worth talking to. That absence of desperation is the most magnetic signal a man can send. When you stop treating your age as a problem to be solved and start carrying it with unshakable self-assurance, the entire dynamic flips. You stop competing on the terms of a 20-year-old and start standing firmly in a realm where younger men simply cannot compete. Maturity, emotional stability, and true self-awareness. Before we break down the exact psychological shifts and behaviors that make this transition happen, do yourself a favor right now, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications. We cover the real unfiltered psychology behind human behavior, relationships, and male attraction that you won't find anywhere else. You do not want to miss the specific strategies coming up next. So take a quick second to lock in your subscription and let's jump right into the core breakdown. Let's get one thing clear right from the start. When a younger woman is interested in an older man, she is not looking for a carbon copy of the guys her own age. If she wanted someone who acts, dresses, and talks like a 22-year-old, she would simply date one. What she is actually looking for is a grounded, elevated experience. She's looking for a presence that feels steady, mature, and refreshing compared to the chaos she usually encounters. The moment an older man starts making self-deprecating jokes about his age, complaining about getting older, or dropping subtle apologies for his wrinkles, he completely destroys that experience. Apologizing for your age, whether directly or through nervous jokes, screams one thing louder than anything else: deep-seated insecurity. On the flip side, a man who owns his age, steps into his skin without hesitation, and carries his years with pride projects absolute certainty. And certainty is universally attractive. So many men get trapped in the belief that attraction is built on hiding the physical signs of aging or obsessively fighting off gray hair. But surface level appearance is rarely the deciding factor. Real, undeniable attraction is created by the emotional atmosphere you bring with you the moment you walk into a room. Think about the men who naturally draw people toward them without saying a word. They aren't bouncing around the room trying to be the loudest voice. They aren't desperately trying to command the spotlight or convince everyone of how impressive they are. They don't beg for approval, and they certainly don't look around the room seeking validation from others. Instead, they sit back, relax, and let conversations unfold naturally. They are completely comfortable in their own skin, and that effortless ease creates a powerful contrast in a world full of people frantically trying to be noticed. Whenever you try to sell yourself to a woman, whether that's by using carefully rehearsed pickup lines, dropping name brand flexes, or constantly bringing up your achievements, you inadvertently signal desperation. You're effectively saying, "Please look at my credentials so you'll think I'm worthy." People can feel that hidden pressure almost instantly, and it immediately pushes them away. High value attraction doesn't come from forcing someone to recognize your worth through a sales pitch. True confidence means knowing your value so deeply on the inside that you feel zero need to prove it to anyone on the outside. When you stop trying to convince people that you matter, your composure speaks for itself. If you ask most people what makes a man attractive, they'll talk about wealth, status, or charisma. But the single most powerful quality an older man can possess, the one trait that sets him apart from almost everyone else, is emotional steadiness. In a world where most dating interactions are driven by anxiety, overthinking, and hidden motives, a calm-centered man is a total rarity. While insecure men rush into interactions with overwhelming enthusiasm, bombard her phone with rapid double texts, and bring a chaotic, forced energy to every interaction, grounded men do the exact opposite. They stay cool, composed, and collected no matter what happens. Trying to rush a connection or push things forward too quickly doesn't build attraction. It creates immense pressure. When you try to speed up the process, you signal that you are terrified of losing her attention, which betrays a deep need for immediate validation. But when you consciously choose to slow down, embrace moments of silence without feeling the urge to fill them, and remain calm regardless of how the conversation goes, you communicate high value. You show that your peace of mind isn't dependent on a quick response or an instant spark. You're showing that you trust yourself, and you're giving the relationship actual space to breathe and develop on its own terms. Women feel genuinely safe and relaxed around a man who doesn't panic, overreact, or try to force a specific outcome. When a man doesn't lose his cool over small misunderstandings or get anxious when things don't go according to plan, it shows that he can handle whatever comes his way. That emotional stability creates a sense of comfort and trust that money simply cannot buy. Patience isn't passive or weak. It is one of the ultimate displays of strength. When you master the art of remaining patient and emotionally grounded, You instantly separate yourself from the vast majority of men who let their anxiety dictate their actions. One of the most damaging mistakes an older man can make is trying to compete with younger guys on their terms. The moment you start changing your wardrobe to match the latest youth trends, adopting slang that doesn't belong in your vocabulary, or trying to match the wild, unrefined energy of a 2-year-old, you instantly destroy your value. Younger women are already completely surrounded by guys in their 20s every single day. They know how those guys behave, how they talk, and how they think. They do not need, nor are they looking for, a cheap imitation of someone half your age. When an older man tries to act young, it doesn't make him look vibrant or cool. It makes him look uncomfortable in his own skin, desperately trying to cling to a phase of life that has already passed. What actually captures a woman's attention and sparks genuine curiosity is a man who stands completely outside of that chaotic noise. It is the man who has spent years navigating the real world and, as a result, has built his own distinct rhythm, his own solid perspective, and a strong sense of identity. That is something a younger guy simply cannot fake, because it only comes with time and lived experience. When you step into a room, you shouldn't be trying to blend in with the youth. You should be standing firmly in the maturity you've earned. Embrace the man you are today. Wrinkles, gray hair, life lessons, and all. True authenticity cannot be manufactured or faked through a clever pickup line. It shows up naturally in the smallest, unscripted details of who you are. It displays in how genuinely you laugh, the depth and substance of the stories you tell, and the calm, unshakable way you handle unpredictable or stressful moments. When life throws a curveball, a younger guy might panic or react emotionally, but a seasoned man simply adapts and handles it with composure. That contrast is massive. Stop wasting your energy trying to act young or prove that you can still party like a college student. Start showing up as a solid, self-assured man who is proud of his journey. Because that level of grounded authenticity is infinitely more compelling than trying to play a role that isn't yours. There is almost nothing that kills attraction faster than a man who drops everything the moment he finds a woman he likes. When a man instantly makes a woman the absolute center of his universe, after just a couple of interactions, it sends a massive warning sign. It communicates that before she came along, his life was empty, directionless, and waiting for someone else to fill it. High value, lasting attraction never happens when you expect a woman to be your entire source of happiness, entertainment, and emotional validation. It happens when you already have a vibrant, fulfilling life of your own, and you are simply inviting her to share in that existing world. You must have a clear, driving purpose that exists completely independent of your dating life. Whether that purpose is centered around expanding your career, mastering your physical health, diving deep into personal passions, or building a lasting legacy, it needs to be something that excites you when you wake up every morning. A man with a mission carries a totally different energy than a man who is just idling through life waiting for a text message. When a woman realizes that your mood, self-worth, and daily happiness do not rise and fall based on whether she replies in 5 minutes or 5 hours, it creates a powerful dynamic of healthy intrigue and respect. That emotional independence is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess. It shows that you value your own time, respect your own goals, and have built a life that you are genuinely proud of. You aren't clinging to her out of fear or scarcity. You are with her out of choice. When a woman sees that you have your own path, your own boundaries, and a rich life outside of the relationship, she doesn't feel the suffocating pressure of having to manage your emotions or be your sole source of joy. Purpose gives a man undeniable direction. And a man who knows exactly where he is going will always be far more attractive than a man who is just wandering around looking for someone to follow. When it comes to building real attraction, most men completely misunderstand what good communication actually looks like. They operate under the false belief that captivating a woman requires a non-stop performance filled with clever jokes, impressive stories, and perfectly rehearsed pickup lines. But treating a conversation like a stage show only reveals one thing. You are desperately trying to control the outcome. Great communication isn't about delivering a flawless performance. It is entirely about your level of presence. The sad reality is that most people in today's world are terrible listeners. When someone else is speaking, the average person isn't actually taking in what's being said. They are simply waiting for their turn to talk, mentally rehearsing their next line, or constantly checking their environment for approval. When you trap yourself in that performative mindset, genuine human connection becomes completely impossible. The moment you choose to drop the performance, step out of your own head, and slow the entire interaction down, everything shifts in your favor. When you give a woman your full, undivided attention, making calm eye contact, not glance checking your phone, and truly absorbing her words without instantly jumping in to evaluate or judge them, you stand out from nearly every other guy she encounters. Most people are star-crossed for genuine, uninterrupted attention in a world dominated by constant distractions. By simply being present, you create a rare emotional atmosphere where she feels genuinely heard, safe, and valued. That quiet attentiveness communicates immense power because it shows you aren't feeling anxious, you aren't rushing the interaction, and you aren't desperately trying to manipulate how she perceives you. Now, let's be exceptionally clear. Being an attentive listener does not mean becoming a passive yes man who nods along and agrees with every single thing she says. Trying to agree with every opinion just to keep the peace is just another form of desperate performance, and women see right through it. A truly confident man holds his own values, beliefs, and opinions, and he isn't afraid to express them respectfully even when they differ from hers. Disagreeing calmly and maturely without turning the conversation into an argument or trying to win a debate demonstrates real substance and character. It proves that you are a solid, grounded individual who values honesty over superficial approval. Ultimately, being fully present, listening with genuine curiosity, and speaking from a place of relaxed authenticity builds deep, lasting rapport faster than any scripted pickup strategy ever could. People quickly forget the exact words you spoke or the specific stories you told, but they will always remember the exact way you made them feel during a conversation. When you offer a steady, grounded presence instead of a forced sales pitch, you cease being just another guy trying to impress her. You become a memorable, high-value man she actually wants to know deeper.